Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking you on a pretty extraordinary journey. We're going to peel back the layers of history.
Yeah, uncovering the rich, long, and maybe often unseen story behind the modern United Arab Emirates.
Exactly. And our mission in this deep dive really is to unearth some fascinating insights. We've got two key sources you shared with us.
Right, those compelling excerpts from the History of the Emirates documentary series,
Hmm.
and also the official UAE government's history portal, which is quite comprehensive.
It is. So get ready because we're going to unpack the foundational moments, the surprising developments that really shaped the UAE we know today.
And we're not just listing dates here. The striking thing, I think, is how this deep dive will connect the dots, between ancient ingenuity, these major global shifts,
Right.
and that determined vision that shaped the country. It reveals just how deep its roots truly go.
Okay, let's dig in. The documentary, wow, it promises an incredible scope. It aims to depict ancient history stretching back, get this, 125,000 years.
It's staggering, isn't it?
Wow, 125,000 years. I mean, that's a scale of history I hadn't quite grasped for this specific region. And it culminates, of course, in the Union in 1971. What seems really cool is how it uses, state-of-the-art CGI, 360-degree cameras.
And actual archaeological footage, too.
Right. To profile historic sites, uncover innovations. It sounds like it really makes the history feel, well, tangible, vivid.
It does. And, if we connect this to the bigger picture, that UAE government portal gives us a really detailed timeline. It traces the area's history specifically back to 6000 BC.
Okay.
And it knows something important. Before the Federation, the region was generally just called the Arabian Peninsula.
Right. That makes sense.
So it sets this broad canvas,
Yeah.
emphasizing how the land's always been significant, even as its political identity changed over millennia.
Absolutely. So let's dive into that earliest period the government portal mentions, the Paleolithic Age. That's roughly 6,000 to 3,500 BC. During this time, we're picturing Bedouin communities living mostly by fishing, gathering plants. Sounds like basic subsistence.
Well, yes, but here's where it gets really interesting. The archaeology from this era is quite surprising.
Oh.
How so? They've actually found pottery emerging in places like Sharjah, Al Quain, Ras Al Khaimah, Abu Dhabi.
Okay, pottery.
But what's striking is what kind of pottery. Some of it sort of greenish yellow with black geometric designs. It actually resembled pottery found way over in Mesopotamia from the same time.
Mesopotamia, wow. So that suggests...
Early, pretty sophisticated trade, cultural exchange even. It hints at how connected this region was even thousands of years ago.
That's fascinating.
And we also know around 5000 BC, the weather was much wetter, significantly wetter.
Ah, so that would support more life.
Exactly. Hunting, fishing, even agriculture, grazing animals. But then Neolithic life kind of collapsed after 4000 BC.
Why? What happened?
The climate deteriorated.
Right.
It shifted back to being much more arid. Imagine trying to adapt to that kind of environmental change.
Yeah, that climate shift sounds like it reshaped everything. It really feels like each era was profoundly shaped by these environmental challenges and opportunities too.
Leading to new ways of life, new innovations.
And as communities adapted, we see these remarkable advancements. That whole struggle, that drive for survival and innovation, it really defined the next era, didn't it? The Bronze Age.
Right, roughly 3200 to 1300 BC. And it's not just one block of time, it's actually split into three periods.
Okay, what are those?
There's the Jebel Hafit period, named for those distinct tombs near Al Ain, then El Nar, and finally the Wadi Souk period.
Jebel Hafit, Al Nar, Wadi Souk. Got it.
And what's really fascinating here, especially in that El Nar period, is how the region's importance just grows. You see evidence of extensive trade networks.
Trade again, where it is time?
Stretching all the way to Mesopotamia, like before, but also out to the Indus Valley.
Wow, the Indus Valley.
Yeah. We're talking serious, globalized trade thousands of years ago. Copper from the Hajar Mountains here was a key export. This wasn't some isolated backwater, it's a vibrant hub.
That is remarkable. So not just adapting to climate, but becoming active players in ancient global trade.
Precisely.
And that spirit of ingenuity, it just kept going into the Iron Age, right?
Yeah.
Roughly 1300 to 300 BC. And this era brought a really pivotal innovation, the Falaj irrigation systems.
Absolutely. The halage systems.
Yeah.
They were just ingenious. Think of them like ancient aqueducts.
Yeah.
But gravity-fed.
Okay.
Really precisely engineered to tap into groundwater, sometimes far inland, and channel it for miles to sustain farming villages. continuous cultivation right in this dry climate.
That's incredible engineering for the time.
It wasn't just about survival, it's about building stable communities, thriving. And the artifacts from this era, they're incredibly diverse.
Like what?
Oh, intricate ceramics, things made of bronze, gold, iron, beautiful jewelry beads, gold stones, decorative stones, daggers, arrowheads, swords, axe heads, even fish hooks and knives.
A lot of metal work.
Yeah, it's even believed they had metal factories back then. Points to a pretty sophisticated industrial capacity, doesn't it?
It really does.
And another key takeaway from the Iron Age, they found large underground tombs built for groups of people, suggesting, complex social structures,
Yeah.
communal burial practices.
That's incredible innovation. What specific challenges? I mean, building something like a filage system in such a dry place, you wonder how long those techniques took to develop.
It certainly wasn't overnight. Now, shifting gears quite a bit, we come to a profound cultural transformation, the arrival of Islam, around AD 630 to 1258.
Right. The sources mention Islam arrived after the opening of Mecca. Envoys from Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, came in AD 630.
That's right. Specifically, Amr bin al-As visited Oman and Sohar, and Abu Allah al-Hadrami went to Bahrain.
And how is Islam received?
Well, the striking thing here is how readily the Gulf region accepted Islam. Willingly, which, it's quite different from some other regions that saw a lot of conflict during this period. And then Islamic civilization really flourished under the Umayyad and Abbasid caliphates. Sea trade just exploded. Yeah, between the Gulf region and other areas, Southeast Asia, the West African coast. Ship craftsmanship became widespread here. Those local dhows were crucial for these expanding trade networks.
So it wasn't just a religious shift.
Not at all. It was an economic and cultural renaissance for the region.
A huge period of growth, connection, really cementing the region as a global crossroads. But then new players arrived, different influences.
Europeans.
Exactly.
Okay.
Starting with the Portuguese era, right?
Wow.
AD 1498 to 1650. They were among the first Europeans here, reaching the Gulf in 1498. And by 1515, they'd kind of fought their way into the Indian Ocean, the Gulf of Oman, establishing themselves by force.
Right, and by 1560, they pretty much had a semi-monopoly on the pepper and spice trade.
How did that impact things locally, beyond just their control, I mean? Did it disrupt the old trade routes?
That's a great question. It definitely did. While they wanted the spice trade, their presence, it disrupted traditional networks. Often involved heavy-handed tactics, building forts.
So not just trading.
No, they were imposing their will.
Yeah.
But their dominance wasn't absolute. It was challenged.
By who?
By the Yarabi forces, a powerful local dynasty. They eventually pushed the Portuguese out, recaptured Julfar and Dibba in 1633, Sohar in 1643.
Wow.
And finally Muscat in 1650. That really marked the end of the significant Portuguese presence, or coercive presence, in the region.
So local power pushed back successfully.
Okay.
And after the Portuguese.
Came the Dutch era, roughly 1622 to 1750. Their entry really kicked off after the Portuguese lost Hormuz in 1622.
And the Dutch were successful.
Oh, yes. Made enormous profits, especially from trading silk with Shah Abbas in Persia. By the 17th century, they were the dominant naval power in the Indian Ocean and the Arabian Gulf.
So they replaced the Portuguese, essentially.
For a time, yes. But by the 1750s, Dutch power weakened a lot.
Why was that?
Basically three-way warfare. Them, the English, the French, they lost most of their holdings in the Indian Ocean.
So competition heated up.
Very much so.
Yeah.
They did manage to strengthen their position on Karg Island for a while, built a fortress, took over things like the pearl fishery there, but their broader dominance faded. It just shows the constant flux of power, doesn't it? Even strong European powers hit their limits here.
And that leads us right into the next major power, the British era. That's a long one, 1720 to 1968.
A very long one.
By the 1720s, British trade in the Gulf was already growing significantly. Their main concern, the sources say, was safeguarding trade links to India.
Crucially important to them.
And keeping European competitors out. They consolidated power, notably defeating the Qawasems by 1820.
Yes, the Qawasems, a powerful local maritime tribal confederation. Their activities at sea were often seen as, conflicting with British shipping interests. Piracy was the term the British often used.
Right, so after defeating them, the British signed agreements.
A whole series of them, from 1820 right up to 1853, with the individual sheikhs of the Emirates.
What did these agreements do?
Often framed as peace treaties, they required the sheikhs to ensure peace at sea and, importantly, stop building large ships or coastal fortifications.
Ah, so limiting local naval power.
Effectively, yes.
Mm.
Ostensibly to stop piracy, but it definitely curtailed local maritime strength. Though, tribal warfare at sea did continue.
Okay. And then came the exclusive agreements in 1892.
Yes, this was a major step. Under these, the trucial states, as they were then called, couldn't dispose of territory to anyone but the UK.
Right.
And couldn't enter into relationships with any foreign government without British consent.
And in return.
In return, the British promised defense against foreign aggression.
So that basically formalized external control.
It absolutely did. It effectively turned the trucial states into British protectorates. It's quite insightful how these agreements, starting with peacekeeping at sea, laid the groundwork for nearly a century and a half of British political economic dominance, profoundly shaping the region's path towards eventual unification.
And that long era ended when the British announced their withdrawal.
Exactly. In early 1968, they declared they'd withdraw from the Gulf by the end of 1971.
That's a fascinating pivot point. Those agreements shifting from sea peace to basically full protectorate status. Which brings us right to that crucial period, the foundation of the UAE, 1966 to 1971.
A time of rapid change and decisive action.
And it seems H.H. Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan's vision was key. Soon after he became ruler of Abu Dhabi in August 66.
Yes, August 6, 1966.
He stressed the importance of unity, there's that quote. In harmony, in some sort of federation, we could follow the example of other developing countries. That vision really set things in motion, didn't it? Especially with the British leaving.
Absolutely. And a key takeaway here is how swiftly and deliberately the leaders acted on that vision. Things moved fast.
What were the key steps?
Well, Sheikh Zayed met with Sheikh Rashid bin Zayed Al Maktoum, the ruler of Dubai then.
Okay.
On February 18, 1968, at a place called Al Samha, between Abu Dhabi and Dubai. That meeting was pivotal. Really kicked off the concrete efforts towards unity.
Just the two of them initially?
That meeting was key. Then, just days later, February 25th to 27th, 1968, the rulers of 9 states met in Dubai for a constitutional conference.
9, so that included?
The 7 trucial states plus Bahrain and Qatar at that stage. They formed an 11-point agreement, the basis for trying to establish the Federation of the Arab Emirates, a very proactive, strategic response to the changing world.
But ultimately, it was 6 states that formed the UAE initially.
That's right. Things evolved, discussions continued, and it led to that momentous declaration on July 18, 1971.
Tell us about that.
The rulers of 6 of the 7 trucial states, everyone except Ras Al Khaimah at that specific moment, decided to form the Union. They made that historic declaration.
Announcing the UAE.
Yes. The Supreme Council felicitates the people of the United Arab Emirates, as well as the Arab people, and our friends around the world, and declares the United Arab Emirates as an independent sovereign state being a part of the Arab world.
Wow. A powerful moment. And it connects right back to the documentary's promise of culminating in that union. What an incredible act of self-determination after centuries of external influence.
It truly was.
What an incredible sweep of history we've just covered. I mean, from deep antiquity right up to modern nationhood.
It's quite a trick.
From those ancient communities making pottery that, surprisingly look like pieces from Mesopotamia.
Showing those early global connections.
Yeah. To the ingenious Falaj irrigation systems of the Iron Age, letting people farm in a dry land. We've gone through the flourishing Islamic civilization with its huge sea trade.
Navigated the arrival and departure of various European influences.
Right. The Portuguese, the Dutch, the British. And finally, witnessing that deliberate, visionary formation of a modern nation in 1971.
This deep dive really has revealed a rich, often unseen civilization, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And you see these enduring ties between the country's remarkable past and its present.
Definitely.
What's so fascinating is seeing how long the region has been this hub, a hub of innovation, trade, global connectivity. Going back millennia, it's not a news story, really, but one of constant adaptation and foresight.
It's quite something to just sit back and consider the incredible journey this land has been on.
Yeah.
From nomadic groups adapting to climate shifts.
To becoming this vibrant global crossroads.
And finally, a unified state forged by its own leaders.
Absolutely. And as you reflect on everything we've talked about, here's maybe a final thought for you to mull over.
Okay.
Thinking about all of it, that earliest pottery, the advanced Falaj systems, the long history of trade routes, not to mention the more recent history of deliberate unification.
Yeah.
What specific threads? Threads of ancient ingenuity, or that global connectivity, or maybe the spirit of self-determination. Which of those do you think continue to resonate most profoundly